This is one of my favourite subjects.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Our topic today is celebrating.
Celebrate. And it's something we don't do enough of. And it really, I do this with everybody all the time, is what have you celebrated this week? And it's amazing, but people can't think of anything. And then when they start going through it and you tell them you should be celebrating that, and what are you going to do to celebrate? And suddenly they give themselves something they're going to do. And it's amazing the look in their face, how it changes.
Yes. I know, celebrating. We've talked about this before in setting up shop. We've talked about, and we've got a course. One of the elements of the course is about celebrating small wins, because we feel like it's such an important thing to know about, because you forget. You absolutely forget as you're sort of grinding through your business, that there are so many little things that you do that are incredible, and you just skip past them and go, oh, whatever, done. But those little points of celebration can give so much. It can give boost. It can give a positive reinforcement that you're doing the right thing. It can help you to realize how much you've done, and I mean, I've been guilty of this for years, Tony. I skipped over the wins because I moved on far too quickly and didn't acknowledge how important something was.
Yeah, but I think it's because the interpretation of it, wins to most people is this big thing. It's a big event or that. Like birthdays, weddings, things like that, setting your business up. All these things are. Somebody said that is when you have to grind through it and look for things to celebrate, that's a celebration in itself, the grind. If you've had to grind through a day and you come through at the end of that, that resilience that you've done to keep going, that's something to celebrate. But people don't look at it that way. I say to them is, all the time what they look is negative is a celebration, because what you've learned is something not how to do it. So you're actually still learning is, I'm not going to do that again because that was not working. And look what it cost me. But you're celebrating the learning of, that's not right for me, so I won't do that again. So you're not going to have to face all that grind possibly. I think the thing for me, as just said to you, when at first point there, is someone's face. When they tell their face, they smile. It's amazing how the whole body changes, your mind changes, your outlook changes, your perspective. That's the crazy thing. And I say it to people all the time, it's just smile. Right? Every time you do a little thing in your business is done, that can be the win itself. That's the celebration, is a little smile. But when you do it somewhere outside when you're doing it. You walk along and realise, I've just got an idea. Use your voice notes, talk it in there, and smile and say, that's a really good celebration. Watch everybody pass by, they'll start smiling back to you. Because they don't know, they think you're smiling at them. They don't know why, but you're smiling, so they'll smile back.
They think I'm creepy, I think, though.
Yes. It depends on how you smile, yeah. Do it naturally, not creepily. But what I mean is, smiling is the same as laughing, it's contagious. And so celebrating wins needs to become contagious for business owners. Because the more you get that contagious, the more thing that happens, the more it brings you forward. You stop looking back at all things. As humans, we work away from pain or towards pleasure. So celebrating getting away from the pain is also a celebration. But then that means you're working towards the pleasure, the things you like now. So that's the fun part.
Yeah, and I think having a celebration buddy is also a very positive thing. So Mags is my celebration buddy, and if I feel like I've done something well, if I mean, I send her crazy voice notes sometimes going, oh my God, I've got an idea, I have to share it, I'm so excited. But, even with her book, every time she sold another book, she'd tell me, and I'd send her a meme to congratulate her, because that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
But, it's like you sort of bypass it and go, oh, well, it's only one thing. But actually, it's a huge deal. And that's what we want to talk about today is it's that reinforcement of something positive, because we isolate ourselves, we can get very negative in a business space, because it's kind of what happens, and it naturally happens. And so to try to get out of that, you need to find those moments that you can share, or you can use as a space for momentum.
And that's a great word, momentum, because that's what you want in business. That's the bit sometimes it's difficult for people to find when they're really having a tough time, or things are not going on. I can't get the clients I'm looking for, or you've got ones and you're taking people on, you didn't even want to, but you think you need to get the business going. And that doesn't give you that momentum. But then if you think it the other way, okay, it's a means to an end. I'll do this now, but once you get to a certain point, that you can choose who you want to work with and who you don't. So it's that motivation of getting to that point and say, that's what I want to do. I know I can do that. And every little thing, and you're right, Mags's book, that kind of thing, when someone isn't sure, are other people really going to want this? Are they going to like it? Are they going to suit them? And suddenly someone buys it and another one. That's the thing that happens with celebrations. It's like they say with buses. None come along and then 10 can go along at one time. That's what happens with celebrations as well. You'll find a really tough day, a grind day, and then suddenly you think about it and go, actually, well, no, I managed to get through this, through that. And then you realise all these little wins are just building up, and then it feels like a big win. So it's like, what did you give yourself? And that's the important part. We talk a lot about wins is great, but it's what did you do? What did you do? So you take the learning from it, so you can use that again because you know that's brilliant. But how did you reward yourself for what you've just done? That's the bit I think with the wins that's missing, the celebrations, is people don't reward themselves for doing it. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. A reward could be anything at all, 5 minutes away from your desk. It can be getting the fresh air. It could be having a coffee, talking to a friend, like you just said, send me my voice note. Yeah, cake. Yeah, I was trying not to say that word because we always do that one, but yes. Okay, cake, even biscuits, even donuts. We're having this debate all the time. We're still having this for over a year later. Is a donut a cake or not? Right? You can write in and tell us that, by the way, if you think so. Is it a donut, a cake or not? I like the idea. See if someone does that. But yeah, it doesn't matter. And think about it. There's so many different varieties of cakes that you can have a different one for every single celebration you've got then.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's a very good point, Tony. Also, looking at social proof in your business. So, do you ask for testimonials? And I would imagine quite a lot of people go, no, I don't do that. I find it in my workflows a lot. When I start mapping out the business, I'm like, where is your testimonial flow? Where's your social proof? How do you then feed that back in to show people your value? And it's missing a lot of the time. But the testimonials, so I've been getting testimonials recently because it's a part of my ask. When I send an email with the workflow map, I ask for a testimonial at that point. And everyone's been happy to give a testimonial because they've enjoyed what we've delivered together. But that is also a way to celebrate by other people sharing how much you've impacted them. And those moments, although you kind of feel like it's vanity perhaps, those are really important to other people. If you look at, when you travel, how many times do you look at the reviews first? So you're looking at social proof as a way to justify you're good at what you do. It's another way to celebrate your business because other people are sharing what they think of you. And so when you're looking at the way that your business is running and managed, don't forget about those all important reviews, testimonials, the contact that you have with people to share feedback that can become another positive reinforcement to you. Celebrate those. I was ecstatic by my review, and I'd asked for it, I'd been given it, but it was still a point of I did really well in this, and this is showing that I did well. It's bringing a different perspective to my business for me. And I just worry about how many people forget about that stuff.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that say that, and well, I was just doing my job. So if you're in a job but they don't ask for a review, if you're sitting in an office spot, you do some with someone, they say, well, I didn't ask them for a review, but it's different when it's your own business because what drives people on is trust. That's what your customers, that clients, whatever you call them, are looking for is can they trust you? So by hearing things from other people, so it's like actually, and whatever they write might resonate with them as well. So go, oh, that's actually me. So they love that. I'm going to like that person. Or that person can provide a solution, a service, a product, whatever that I need. And it's great with that. And I think, it's also good is when you share something that you've achieved at that, it can be difficult sometimes for people to put themselves out there thinking, well, people might shoot me down. Why do they think I deserve that? But then you get the other side. You put that out, and it's amazing how many people also comment positive things on it. I've had that recently. We had a few times on it. In fact, you and Mags, I think, were one of the ones as well. It was even simple as a birthday thing. When these comments come through for your happy birthday, it's amazing some of the things you'll actually get. And I said, I don't know if I actually said I spoke to you. I should have said, yeah, thank you as well with that. I said to Mags, it had me choking up when I actually read what you wrote on it. And I said, that can also be something is sometimes we don't realise how much other people are taking about what you do because you don't put yourself out to necessarily say, well, all right, this is what I do, but I want credit for it. But
Mm.
it's not that. You're actually doing it because it helps the business, one, as you said, but also that feeling that you get when you know that, yeah, not just have made an impact, but it's made a change, a transformation, whatever, to someone's life. That's such an important thing. That's something that really needs to be celebrated, but you don't always see it yourself.
Yeah, and I think there's a line in business. So you're sort of looking for the point where you're not kind of going into personal vanity. So
Mm.
there is still a line there, but it's important to celebrate those moments. I mean, you could schedule your birthday 6 months in advance so you don't forget. But it is a way to connect with people. So we're all about connection in business. We're all
Yeah.
about that point where someone goes, "Oh, I'm interested in what you're doing." That conversation starts to happen. And it might go somewhere, it might not, but if you're shy, or
Mm.
if you're worried about taking steps forward, celebrate those moments where you go, I just had a conversation with someone and it was really enjoyable. Those are the moments as well that, if even if nothing happens from it, the fact that you've had a good conversation with someone is also a point of celebration.
Mm.
And I think that we do skip over those points. And if you're not running a business, if you're in someone else's business, it's sometimes harder to find those moments
Yeah.
because it's not as visible perhaps. But there are points in time in a business, and that you deliver a project, or
Mm.
the team does really well on something together. There's teamwork in there. And if you've got a good boss, and I will caveat by saying this isn't a lot of businesses, but they also see the value that you bring, and they're really happy with who you are and what you're
Mm.
doing. They sometimes show that, they sometimes don't. But those are the moments that you can appreciate that you've done really well. And
Mm.
yeah, please don't skip by them. Please give
No.
them their space in your life, because yeah, it's an important part of being in business, and striving to be as good as you can be.
Yeah, and I think one way that people can really do it, to me, is writing it down or saying it into voice notes or whatever way you want to do it at the end of the day. At the end of the day, look back on the day when you think, I've not really done much today, but really look back on it. And I mean, really assess, review, evaluate your whole day. You'll be amazing how many things you've done. As I mentioned earlier, even what you think's been a grind, there's positives in it because you've learned how you don't want to do something again, but you've learned what you can do next time. And when you do that and you're doing it every single day, it's amazing how when you go to sleep, you suddenly feel better because the last thing you remember is all the good things you've done. And that clears any negative away before the next day. And you start nice and fresh the next day going, what am I going to achieve today? What wins? Have that in your head. What wins am I going to get that I can write about or note tonight?
Yeah. I want to end this video by celebrating us, Tony, that we just
Hmm.
completed a video on celebrating, and I think that is brilliant. So thank you, Tony, very much.
Thank you, Lisa.